All right, so this is a set of Lionel 601, 602 passenger cars. They're early 601, 602s. So I got the set last night, and the passenger car has already been disassembled. The baggage car I left together just to kind of get an idea of what it looked like. So obviously the set's not original anymore. Someone decided to spray paint. And they spray painted before doing restoration. So they didn't take any of the dents out of the body. They didn't get the body down to bare metal. There's spray paint over rusts. You can see the spray paint job's got a lot of imperfections in it because they didn't start with a good, clean base. But also important is they didn't fix anything on it that needed fixed. The doors on this are still loose. On the passenger car, the window inserts were loose. But more troubling is, I put this on the rails last night and gave it a little push. That's all the farther it'll roll. So I started ripping apart the trucks on the other side. Okay. So here is one truck off of the passenger car. Rolls okay. Not perfect, but it rolls okay. This is what they're supposed to do. So when you flip these over, the wheels are relatively clean, but you can see when you spin, the whole axle spins with it. Down here, the entire axle spins with it. So what should have happened is this needs to come off, and there's rust between the axle and the wheel. Now you can see all the pitting on the wheel. That doesn't bother me. Okay, it's not a big deal unless there's a hole in the metal. Okay, if there's a hole in the metal, you have to kind of drill the hole out, cut the hole out a little bit bigger, and then fill it with solder, and then file it down until you get the wheel perfectly round again. The truck that I already got restored had a hole, so I did that last night. But what has to happen with this is this needs to come off. It's rusted in there, and then the axle itself needs to be cleaned. So this would be the culprit. You shouldn't be able to do this. That should fall right off. So what I do is I'm going to take this, put it into a vise, okay, and leave it just so that the jaws of the vise are on either side of the axle, but not snug against the axle. I just want to support the wheel and hang it like an umbrella. And then it's real lightly tapping on this axle with a hammer until it frees itself. And that is the culprit. Okay. You can see all of the rust and corrosion that's built up on the end. Now we can replace the axle, but honestly, when you clean that off, the wheel's still going to roll fine on it. And I'm trying to reuse every part that I can. Okay, I have a wire wheel. We put it on the wire wheel and got all of the rust off, so it's back down to bare metal. So when we put a wheel on it now, it'll spin smooth, and then the oil will make sure that the rust doesn't come back up again and protect the metal that we just cleaned off on the wire wheel. All right, so this is all four of the ends of the axles cleaned, wheels clean, and then put back in the truck just for testing. The truck's going to get stripped down and repainted black. And I'm going to do a little bit more work on just making sure the wheels are perfectly round and roll the way they're supposed to. But I want to show you just by taking apart, cleaning the axles, how much better it's going to roll. Now on the pre-war stuff, I add a washer from an 1/8 inch rivet set to the back. Okay, the problem is with a lot of these early Lionels, you get this problem where when you set them on the tracks, the wheels slide back and forth a lot. And if you're just running on an oval, it's not a bad thing. But as you can see from the back of the video, I've got a lot of switches and things that I like to run them on, and they like to derail. So I just put a little washer in the back. It expands the wheels just a little bit, and then you don't get that ability to slide back and forth as much. There's still play, but not nearly as much. So axles are cleaned. All right. So I put the trucks back on the frame a little bit just to show you again, this barely getting pushed. I get like so much resistance it won't roll. So this is the truck's just cleaned. And I haven't oiled where the axle touches the truck yet. I just oiled the wheels. Okay, but having the wheels free, such a better roll. So restorations for me, you have to, it's not just cosmetic. I always start with the mechanicals. Is the body straight? Did we get the dents out we could get out? Did your body work what needed worked? And then mechanically, are all the couplers going to work? And how are the wheels rolling on the axles? What condition are the trucks in? He also had these ends of the trucks bent in so they were touching the wheel so they wouldn't roll. And then the sides of the trucks themselves had been squeezed together so that they were contacting the wheels. So you can imagine over the last, 101, 102 years of this car, over the years it got bent. But they started by spraying it, and that doesn't work. You can see inside where all the black paint is already gone. That's places where I started working on getting the dents and stuff out. But because they didn't use any primer, the moment you put any pressure on that paint, the paint just flaked right off. So I'll post some more videos as we work on these. Like I said, a Lionel early 601, 602 set.